What's going on, everyone? Brenden Schaeffer back here with another fantasy football mock draft video. Hit subscribe on the channel and hit like on this video if you like fantasy content. We've got it coming to you all season long right here on the channel. This is going to be a 12-team half PPR mock draft. Pretty standard setup: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 1 flex. Previous videos I've done with multiple flexes. I wanted to do more of a standard league setup for people, and then we'll go with 5 bench spots. Don't worry about kickers. Don't worry about defenses. 1 minute on the clock for each pick. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Yeah, Justin Jefferson goes. I think I agree with that pick wholeheartedly. Typically, I'm taking wide receivers in the early rounds, right? But this time, I kind of wonder, could there be value to slamming Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler in this spot? Yeah, there could be, but I can't bring myself to do it. I am big on the season that Ja'Marr Chase is going to have with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he could surpass Justin Jefferson as the wide receiver 1 by the end of the season. So we'll go ahead and hit that pick without thinking about it too much. We see Eckler does go ahead of McCaffrey, which is interesting. CMC at number 5 overall. I love seeing Travis Kelce slip into the top 5 because I think there's value there for those who want to have a super advantage at tight end. But drafting this high at the 1.2, that wasn't really a consideration for us. Interesting to see 3 quarterbacks off the board before our pick at 2.11. I love it because that means I am stacking Ja'Marr Chase with Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just, there's no question in my mind that Amon-Ra is the play. Says he's doing well in recovery from a leg injury. Okay, I was making sure I didn't miss anything injury-wise that would keep Amon-Ra on the board to 2.11. That's a fantastic value. I could just sit here all day and stare at Chase and Amon-Ra. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to do that in a real league, but I like doing it here. Running back, do we want to go running back just yet? We got 37 seconds left. Najee Harris is not a consideration. Ramondre could be one. Breece Hall, I'm a little bit iffy at this early stage of the third round. The third-round target I usually go for is sitting here still, and it's Mark Andrews. My goodness, do we have some pass-catching glory on this roster. We're going to slam it. We don't have to think about tight end again for the rest of the draft. We love it. Let's see how the rest of the third round unfolds. Ramondre and Jahmyr Gibbs off the board in the back half. See, I think where those guys went is great value. Breece Hall in the 4th is good value. I did not want to take him at 3.2. Where he went, 4.3, that's good value if you can get him there. Okay, where are we here? We don't need to look at tight ends anymore. Forget about that. Okay, we've got 2 wide receivers. We only can possibly start 1 more, so that's a difference from the normal strategies that I would employ. I'm taking a lot of wide receivers off the top. This time, I might have to look running back a little earlier than I normally do, and the problem with that is we did have a bit of a run on RBs. I'd love to have Aaron Jones at this spot. I think late 4th, he's a good value. I don't think I've taken a running back in the 4th round all draft season in terms of the mocks that I've been doing. Crazy the run that we've had on quarterbacks as well. Already everybody's basically gone. Is there any of the elite tier left? Yeah, there is. There's one. I think late 4th is a little early generally for Trevor Lawrence, but with the way this draft is unfolding, I don't really have a problem doing it because he is very clearly the last of a tier. And no, we're not going to be able to stack him with Calvin Ridley. He's off the board at 4.6. Shit, we're running out of time. Let's go ahead and hit T-Law here. See, that's the thing. These mock drafts, if you kind of, it's like the donut in baseball. You're standing in the on-deck circle. You're swinging the bat with, it's a little heavier than normal. It's fun to mock draft with a quicker timer because it just forces you to be on your feet and think a little quicker. I do kind of feel badly that Pierce went off the board here, Dameon Pierce of the Houston Texans. I have not really been in on him, but the more I think about it, maybe I'm overlooking the guy who's going to be a workhorse back most likely for the Houston Texans. Who knows if there'll be a better offense under C.J. Stroud or not. So we're a little bit bummed that he's off the board because we're not as enthused by the guys going in this range at running back. So let's look at wide receiver. Okay, let's think about it. Terry McLaurin's got an injury. We're not going to touch him right now until we know more. DJ Moore is interesting, as is Christian Watson. I think I want to take a shot. I know it's half PPR, and so the value isn't as strong. You tend to lean more running back based, but I don't think there's going to be a run all the way through like the DeAndre Swift Kamara tier before we get to pick again. So let's go in on the A.J. Brown of the Bears offense, which is DJ Moore. I think the leap forward is coming for Justin Fields. It's coming for DJ Moore. The same thing happened with Jalen Hurts last year. You get him an elite alpha wide receiver. Jalen Hurts is suddenly more than just a running quarterback. We saw it play out, and now we feel really good about DJ Moore going into Chicago with a similar setup coming in. We do not love what happened after our DJ Moore pick, however. Wow, this has turned into a 0 RB nightmare because a lot of our guys did go off the board. Javonte Williams, keep an eye on his draft cost. I want him on any team that I can get him on, and the 6.9 is a great value for him. I kind of thought he could slip to 6'11", but I think this is a good lesson to learn. People are starting to come around on him, and he's rising up the ADP on Sleeper. Kamara went earlier than I thought, but he's another guy that I'm in the 6th round. I'm thinking, man, I know he misses 3 games, but he's still Alvin Kamara. Maybe a little bit more relevant in PPR, full PPR rather than half, but nevertheless. Let's look at the running backs we do have on the board. We don't even need to look on any of the other screens. I like Ayuk and Lockett. Those are my dudes there, but we need a running back. So let's quickly diagnose the scene. James Cook, I feel like he's going to have a workload in a really elite offense. That's the guy I want because I think there's the highest upside for him. His brother Dalvin doesn't have that upside. Breece Hall is going to block him. I'm talking about a world in which there are no injuries to be thought of. James Cook, if things go his direction, could, of all these guys in the top 4 or 5, really on this entire RB list right here, from Dalvin Cook down to Charbonnet, James Cook is the only one that I could see being a true 3-down back. Everybody else is going to be mixed in and out, pending injuries. Like A.J. Dillon could do it if something happened to Aaron Jones, but we don't project that at the beginning of the year. Okay, we need another running back. we boxed ourselves into the 0 RB. It happens to be all the time. It really does, because who's going to argue with Chase Amon-Ra St. Brown? That's what you need to be doing. And then Mark Andrews falls to the 3rd. It's 0 RB by default. Look, when I get in these late kind of turn area, 10, 11, 12, maybe I switch it up this year. I'm usually a 0 RB guy. Maybe this year I decide, no, I'm going to go heavy on RB because you can get a Chubb and a Henry start in some cases, a Barkley and a Chubb start in some cases. Jonathan Taylor, if he gets traded, you're going to wish you had him in the top 5. But as it stands, man, I don't know about all that. Not from the top of this draft when I can have those 2 wide receivers, Chase and Amon-Ra. It's too easy. Okay, we went ahead and made our pick because we were under the gun there. We're going to go with David Montgomery. I don't think he's going to be the main pass catcher in that Lions backfield. He's going to play about as often, though, as the guy going several rounds earlier in Jahmyr Gibbs. And I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm in on Jahmyr Gibbs, especially at that price. We're drafting on the other side of the board, though, today, so we didn't get to pick him at 310. But I'm in on him. I'm also in on David Montgomery, though. I think they're going to use both guys. And as an RB2, we could do worse. We could do worse. And then we got really fortunate here. Because of the way that we're built, a lot of wide receivers going off the board in the next 2 rounds. Some names that we really like, JSN, I know he's got the wrist surgery, but he'll probably be back and ready to go. Jordan Addison, yeah, we miss out on him, but I just think from this side of the board, you expose yourself to different names. Here's where we're looking at this next couple of picks that we have in the row. We're looking at Gabe Davis or Zay Flowers. We're wanting one of those guys to drop to us, but right here, it's an RB tier that cuts off right beneath Zach Charbonnet. I like Devon Achane as well, even with the injury concern. Maybe that'll lower him on draft boards as we get closer to the regular season. But Charbonnet, I'm going to add that in terms of my backfield comfort level so that I've got 3 guys that I feel like I can plug in. And you might say, Charbonnet, is he really going to play enough to be flexible at the beginning of the year? Yeah, I think he really is because it's Pete Carroll in Seattle still. And Kenneth Walker runs like a man on a mission, reckless abandon. He might get hurt. I mean, he's a stud of a player. But if you tell me Zach Charbonnet in the late 8th versus Kenneth Walker in the early 4th, there should be a smaller gap, I think, between those 2 guys and the value that Charbonnet brings. I am trying to get him wherever I can this late in drafts. If he moves up too far, that could change. But because, it is possible that they ease him in and he's not a guy with a huge role that you feel comfortable putting him in the lineup right away. But I don't have to because he's on my bench right now. So I feel good about that. And let's see, both of our wide receivers fell to us, Gabe Davis and Zay Flowers. We already have a share of the Buffalo offense, so we're going to take a rookie wide receiver. I love stacking up on rookie wide receivers because you just never know. The upside, it's kind of like undetermined. You just never know what could end up happening. I don't know what the hell happened here. Oh, Juju Smith-Schuster. I was like, Jackson, Smith, and Jigba already went. That's S and okay. I got it. We're clear. I see Dalton Kincaid go at the 10. That makes me a little sad. I don't know why there's a ticking noise in the background. Has that been going the whole time? I don't know. Anyway, it's throwing me off my game is what it's doing. Let's take a look here. There's no way that's been going the whole time. That is a sleeper glitch if I've ever seen one. Get on top of it, sleeper. Dalton Kincaid goes here. He's a guy I'd be looking at in the 10th round if I didn't already have this beautiful man up here, Mark Andrews. But we do have Mark Andrews, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's see where we're at. We have 3 running backs. We need probably 4 to feel really good about ourselves. A little early maybe for the Tank Bigsby's, but at this point in the draft, guys, I'm scrolling looking for rookies. Roshan Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Deuce Vaughn, guys like that, man. I may just pick Deuce Vaughn here to prove a point. No, I'm going to go Sky Moore. We're going to grab Sky Moore. We don't think any of our running back targets are going off the board. There's a world in which I go Tank Bigsby, and then I hope Deuce Vaughn gets back to me. But I covered Deuce Vaughn in high school in Central Texas, and I just want to see him on my roster if I can get him. It's more of a personal thing. Tank Bigsby is the better value. I think I've got Tank Bigsby ranked higher than Deuce Vaughn. It's just one of those things where you get your guys, and I decided I'm getting my guy. Deuce Vaughn's my guy. I'm getting him. Let's see if Tank falls. No, he does not. He goes 12.5 to Team 8. That's okay. We're rushing through the rest of this draft because that ticking noise is going to drive me insane. It's probably already done that to you. End of my bench is my last pick. I talked about the rookie running backs that we're interested in. One of them, I mean, again, that would have been an easy call for Bigsby Vaughn, but maybe this guy takes Vaughn instead, and then I'm crying. Wide receiver-wise, we got Sky Moore and Zay Flowers on our bench. We've got 5 wide receivers that we feel really, really good about. We're taking Sam Laporta. And if anything should happen to our guy Trevor Lawrence, we're going to find that Jared Goff owner and say, gimme. Because amon-ra and Laporta, I think, would be a fun stack there. And Laporta, if he turns into a top 6 or 8 tight end, he's trade bait for us. We could find some use for him in that regard. So that's going to do it for this video. Going over the roster run time real quick. Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, we feel good about. Mark Andrews at tight end, we feel very good about. Our running backs, James Cook, David Montgomery, Deuce Vaughn, Zach Charbonnet. We got 4. That's enough. In a 12-team league, that's enough. It's going to be a thinner league because we've got only 5 bench spots and only 1 flex. Only 2 at these positions of RB and wide receiver. So we feel good about being able to pick up some names on waivers if we need to. 4 running backs is plenty. But how about those wide receivers? Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. And then we go DJ Moore in the flex with Zay Flowers and Sky Moore waiting in the wings. Have you seen a better start from the 2 position, the 1.2, than Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown? Because I personally don't think it's possible in 2023 fantasy football. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Subscribe to this video. Subscribe to this channel for fantasy videos all season long as we really get into it in 2023. Let's go win some championships, folks. We'll talk to you next time on the channel. Peace.